Last time on Wanderlust.
When you've been out there, have you heard from the Forest Phantom at all? Did she say anything? Is her wanting change why the town moved? Did she say anything about that or why the town moved?
I don't think she controls this stuff. I think she watches what happens. No, but in terms of what the Forest Phantom wants, I don't think she means us harm. Like, I don't think she's attacking us. I don't think she's sending us these places. But I think she's just interested. She's curious.
No, I don't think that she specifically means us harm. But she does seem to know a lot more than we do. Whether that's from observing other people or just being around whatever actually is doing this.
I guess this kind of leads us back to the ruins to see if we can find a way to succeed where they didn't.
Alright, well, ruins in the morning?
Sounds like a plan.
I don't think I'm going to have a chance to speak with the council again before we head out. Can you please make sure to tell her that at least I, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the Wild Watchers, we had no idea that we were going to be around these people, even though we were aware of them from being out there. There was no indication that they would be our neighbors. We're not trying to withhold information here. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Also, you're definitely taking Guffy. And then you hear a crackling voice, and you hear,
Hello? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, there's buttons on the side, just press those, and then you can talk, but you can't talk at the same time as me.
Those guys that came into the meeting there might be trouble. Not sure yet. I was wondering if you and any of your scrapping here had seen any of those old laser rifle, like mere laser rifle things that we used to have that I've heard about. Okay, I'm okay with that.
So, I would say that you had the thing of new power source and much smaller.
Yes.
Finally, you feel like you can see one of those roots just breaking through into a deep cavern where there is almost no light except for one tiny ray of light coming from some crack in the ceiling, hundreds of feet up, shining down onto one tiny flower growing way far down. And you see a tail coiling around it. You see two sets of eyes open. You hear this same, shifting of rocks as something starts crawling up, and then more and more sets of eyes open far down in the gloom. I don't know who I want to start with. You ever have that problem where you're just like, I don't know who should go first? We ended on Juliet, Maul, and Fred, right?
Yes.
Okay, then we are gonna switch over then to Estelle, Autumn, and Mitchell. All of you found a staircase spiraling down into the darkness after you found a bunch of dirt that had been, mechanically moved by space-age technology, presumably by Lance, who is also investigating the ruins to try to figure out an answer as to how you all ended up where you are and what it means. So, I'll turn it over to the two of you. What are you about as you're heading down this stairway?
Are we heading down yet, or would we be waiting for the rest of the group?
I guess that's up to you. Maybe that's actually a better way to put this. You found it. I don't know that you've actually headed down it yet.
I would say before we all go down, Estelle at least would turn around and be like, Mitchell, Maul, Juliet, Fred, Autumn and I found a staircase over here that I think, we think Lance went down. Guffy, where's Guffy? Juliet?
As you, like, pop your head up and shout around, you look over and you just see, like, Guffy is on his back and Mitchell is scratching his belly. And he's just like, I'm here, but I have not seen Juliet, Mal, or Fred for a while.
That doesn't sound great.
What does a while mean?
How long have we been here? About that long.
Estelle comes, like, fully back up. You said there's, like, a marker here. There's, like, a blinking thing that kind of indicates where this is. Okay, then I'm not gonna mark it necessarily.
No, you'd be able to find your way back here very easily.
Yeah. I think Estelle's gonna walk around and call for Juliet and Fred. And Mal.
I would do that well.
I guess make me a whatever check would make sense of how you might, in this instance, use your tools at hand to find a person you cannot see.
Make a yell check.
Animal handling and look for tracks?
You could do animal handling to see if, like, Guffy could sniff them out.
Can I use athletics to do a quick, like, runner, like, circuit around the ruins?
You just start running in larger and larger and larger circles.
I'm not hearing a no.
Oh yeah, no, roll me the check.
That's a 6.
Dang, okay.
Mine's either a 6 or 7. I didn't pull up my
Okay,
sheet.
cool. So
I forgot what system we're playing. I was like, oh man, a 6. 7. You needed a 7. That's not even a mixed success. Wait a minute. Wrong system. Not even close.
So, Autumn, as you start running in these, like, larger and larger circles, trying to see if you can't spot some sign of Juliet and Fred, you just see, like, Guffy tear off in, like, just a straight line, like, sniffling at the ground and everything, and you go chasing off after Guffy. Meanwhile, down in the pit, Mal, Juliet, and Fred, you are looking down in this, like, spiraling hole in the ground, and you see eyes open and start scuttling up towards you. Lots of eyes.
I think time to go. Julia's backing up, like, real fast.
I think I'd agree with that.
You guys just running?
Backing up quickly.
Okay. How far back do you want to go? Are you leaving the house, or are you staying in the house and, like, waiting to see what comes out?
I think I'll go back a couple rooms, so I can still be in the house and see if we hear more noises, if the noises stop.
Gotcha. So as you start, like, making your way back, like I said, this was sort of like a collapsed in part of the house that eventually opened in onto this big, like, chewed helix leading into the ground. And as you start, like, clambering your way back, you eventually hit a room that was smashed. There's sunlight streaming in. And in the shadows, like, as you're standing in sunlight in this room, in the shadows, you can just see, like, eyes in the darkness. You can vaguely see shapes around them of these figures that are not coming into sunlight, but just kind of, like, waving back and forth and staring out at you.
Okay, so they're not moving.
They're not coming into the sunlight.
Okay. Can I spend a fate point to see the pattern here to kind of figure out what we're dealing with?
Ooh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I do that.
You don't have to roll for that.
No, it's just a point.
So you...
When do those refresh? Is that every arc?
Every arc, I think.
Okay.
Because I can, like, compel a weakness to give you more fate points.
Okay.
So basically, if I start playing your character for you, then you can earn them back. So, as you kind of blink and you see those interlocking geometric patterns playing out around you, as you stare at these things, you can kind of, like, trace a scent towards you back. You can put together a few things. So, whatever these things are, like, whatever that burrow into the ground is, it's old. These things that are here have been here for a long time, and you've never seen them before. The ruins that you're in obviously have something to do with them, so they are not from the larger wilds, they're from here. And if you've never seen them before, like, granted, they came towards you, but that doesn't necessarily read as hostility. And there aren't a lot of animals that just don't go into sunlight ever. So that's an oddity. They are demonstrating intelligence in that they can, like, distinguish this and followed you, but,
What do you mean followed us?
well, like, they chased you, kind of, right?
Okay.
Like, they aren't just, like, lumbering around in circles. They seemed intentional in that they followed after you.
Okay, so they're out of the pit.
Yeah.
Staying to the shadows in the house. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It would seem to you that that would imply that there is a boundary for these creatures for some reason.
Okay. Is that a fate point worth of stuff?
I don't feel like it is, but there isn't a lot to tell you right now, so, you know.
Okay.
Do they seem aggressive?
No, but you're also not there.
No, I meant for, like, well, you were saying it was a fate point worth of stuff. I was trying to help out, like, Kaylin, ask if they seem aggressive.
I guess Juliet can try talking to them. Hello? She, like, kind of waves.
You speak, you see one set of the eyes, and you can sort of, like, as your eyes are adjusted somewhat to low light, you can vaguely see a shape here, something that's shorter than you, but not by much. You can maybe kind of see the outline of two thin legs and long arms, and then these glowing eyes. When you speak, one of those eyes kind of comes further out of the gloom, and you can think maybe just in the hints of sunlight, you can detect an almost, like, toad-like face, but very difficultly in the deep shadows. The eyes turn sideways, like in that, like, you know, dog going way.
Cocking the head.
And you hear a very quiet voice. Do you come bringing pain?
No.
Others came recently. They brought death with them that we have not known in time countless.
Are you all right? Do you need help?
There is a long pause.
No, and no.
Is there a way for us to pass without causing you pain?
The eyes turn sideways again.
Where do you wish to go?
Deeper into the tunnels under these ruins here, and she kind of gestures. I think we're maybe following a similar path to the people who brought you pain. But we are quite different from them, even if we look similar.
The way is open as far as the fields that we grow. If you mean us no harm, there is no harm in you being there, but far below the way is blocked, and should be. Danger lies below us, as it does above us.
What sort of danger lies below you?
Ones that look like us, but are not like us.
Good to know. Have you always been here? Or I guess we recently came here, found our home put here? She's like really I'm really struggling. Juliet's really struggling to like express this concept. We woke up and our home was here and not where it was when we went to sleep. Is that something that has happened to you?
Long ago. Farther than now we can remember, we fell out of our homes. We dug down to find safety, and then we blocked the path to hide those of us that craved death.
To prevent them from getting the danger below from getting above.
To us, yes.
Okay. From getting to you. Okay. Are there any stories about how you fell from your homes and ended up here?
The eyes begin to kind of like fade back into the gloom.
I am not but a farmer. There are others who can answer those questions better. If you find your way below, and you do not mean harm, you can look for me. My name is Siebert.
And the eyes wink out into the darkness.
Dang it, I had one more question.
Oh, you can shout it after them if you want. Or you can follow them, also an option.
How do we know who is part of your group and who is the danger below?
He just laughs, and you hear him shout back,
If they do not kill you, they are not dangerous.
Well, I guess we should go find the others and see what they've found.
Were there toad people living under your town this whole time and you just didn't tell me? I'm just curious if that was just something you knew about and didn't tell me about toad people living under the town.
You've been here longer than me.
You know, that's actually really fair, and I don't have really a good justification for accusing you of that. In my head, you've been there longer just because, you know, like, I traveled, so, like, yeah, but I guess you hadn't been in Smoky Banks that long, and the rest of your planet isn't so weird.
Yeah, there weren't any toad people below Garden in the Rocks.
Garden in the Rocks?
That's where I'm from.
Oh. Did you garden in the rocks? Like, did you have, like, gardens in rocks?
Oh, it was sort of a canyon, and we had agriculture, but it was like an oasis amidst a mostly arid plateau. There was a canyon, there was a river through it.
That sounds terrible.
It's got its own sort of beauty.
Like just rocks?
Have you ever seen a canyon before?
Not like that, honestly, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll draw you a picture sometime. Maybe we could go visit.
Like it's just a pile of rocks.
No, it's like water has cut a channel through a bunch of like striated rocks, and they're really gorgeous colors, and the river means lots of vegetation around there, and
she kind of like shakes her head and goes, I think I'm from like a very different place than that.
I'm getting that, yeah.
All right, I think at this point, Guffy and Autumn, why can I remember Guffy's name but not Autumn?
Guffy and checks notes. A tomb? Autumn, no, Autumn.
We gotta start doing the thing where we put your, like, names, like, your character names around your friggin' portraits again. But anyways.
I want to just have, like, cardboard signs every time he struggles. We can just hold up our name derogatorily.
That would be great. Honestly, if you guys could wear name tags, I'd like, hello, my name is Autumn. That would be so good. Autumn and Guffy, you find yourselves in this, like, broken down manor house. You know, like, just as Juliet is shouting questions into the darkness.
Hey, Juliet, how's it going? I yell back to myself, found him!
And Estelle, you can start heading your way over there as well.
Cool.
Hi. Have you all found anything interesting?
Yeah, we found the hole that Lance and his team went down.
Oh, okay.
Well, we presume, I guess, like, it's a hypothesis, you know, but, you know, it seems pretty likely that it's his team.
All right, well, and she, like, fills her in on talking to Siebert.
So you get to talk to toad people, and I get the boring finding a hole in the ground. This feels unfair.
Well, we've only just begun. There's
Still.
plenty of time for you to meet other creatures. I'm not sure that I hope that.
Autumn, we know you just wanted to have another alien species group be subservient to you, or whatever your relationship to Teti is. We don't need that again.
You mean win at a dance-off?
Yes, that.
I think this one's Juliet's turn.
I was thinking, before we go down, should we maybe get, like, a bunch of glow sticks and, like, flashlights?
Where would we get those?
Isn't that what the grabby glowy and like my thing are for? I thought we already had those.
Well, I didn't know if we wanted more, like something higher powered. If we could get something from town or from Fred. Because it seems like these things were avoiding sunlight, and it might be a good non-violent way to handle some of these monsters that seem to be avoiding sunlight.
I think that would have been a great idea like 24 hours ago. Because we're here now?
I will say, all things being fair, you have a laser cannon with you,
I have my glowy grabby.
and you also have a literal cart-mounted laser cannon with you.
Oh, yeah.
So in terms of a high-powered flashlight, you do have a laser beam.
Also lethal, though,
Doesn't have to be, you could dim it down, I'm sure.
It's like saying we have a gun, so we have a fire starter, is what you're telling me.
Okay, I mean, you can break a bullet open and use the gunpowder to start a fire, and it does have a sparker, too. It doesn't matter. My point is that if you want to non-lethally use that laser, I'll allow it. But you did literally make a laser beam.
That's not a bad idea. I'll get mine out and we can try to have that in front.
So hang on. I just want to make sure that I understand this. So this Seabit,
Yes.
that was like a toad person. So that's not what we think made like this like tunnel area. Right, Cody? Because it's like the tunnels are supposedly like made by something with a shell.
I'm trying to think of the right way to put this that isn't just stealing from Dune. Like, a sandworm made this tunnel, right? Like, it is gigantic, and these things were a little bit shorter than you and, like, seemingly had, like, skinny arms. This looks like it was chewed in one continuous bite by something that is as what. So no, it does not look like they made it.
Yes, I am establishing that in the narrative.
Yeah.
And then I want to, like, take a look at the walls. And I don't know if there's a way that we can tell if that was done recently.
Oh, how recently the cut was. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. There is, yeah, and anyone who wants to study the stone closer may.
5.
Would animal handling work with this, or?
Yeah, but you'll learn something different.
Okay. That's a 1 on animal
With
handling.
animal handling?
So, yeah, it was all negatives for me.
So what I'll say happens there is, like, Estelle, you go up and you're, like, looking at these walls and you're like, dang, a big thing made this. And then, Juliet, you come up and you start examining. Are you seriously putting a little name tag on the wall behind you?
It's backwards.
It is backwards.
I wrote it back. I wrote it forwards and that showed up backwards for me on my Discord thing. So I have it. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That honestly is helpful. Yes, you're like rubbing your hand to the wall and you're like, wow, Big Mouth made this. And then Juliet comes up. I can't believe you got a 1 on animal handling, by the way.
I know.
I think your
really
lowest
bad.
ever animal handling roll.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then Juliet, you come up and you're like looking at the stone. You can be like, yeah, okay, like that makes sense. There's teeth marks in it. You can like see where maybe like a body twisted through it. You can see some like organic movement in the stone. But as you rub your hand over it, it is like glossy smooth and rippling in a way that like a stalagmite or stalactite is, that implies like years of water erosion, like hundreds, if not thousands of years of water moving over what would be like sharp, broken, jagged stone to smooth it to where like if you pressed your hand hard and rubbed down, you could not cut your hand on it. It's not like glass, but it is totally smooth in that like the textures are all like rippling and absolutely smooth to the touch. And you can, like, the walls are wet. There is a little bit of water running down them. Given that amount of, like, you just talked to Juliet about water cutting through stone. You know how long that would take. It's a really long time.
Oh, me talking to him all about canyons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
You know how long it takes for water to erode stone? This is not like sandstone. This is granite, you know?
Yeah.
Very hard rock that you're just like, whoa, okay. So, like, this has been here long time.
Whatever made this seems giant and also to have done it a long, long time ago.
Okay, so there's no guarantee that it's going to be down there, but...
No, but Siebert said there was something down there. I guess the something dangerous was like them, though. And this thing is something else.
I don't think Siebert could seal these things away. Like, if it can dig through ground, what are we gonna do to stop it?
That's true. I guess I would not consider it out of the possibility that we run into both the people that Siebert mentioned and also whatever this giant ancient thing is.
Well, and I would say that's probably my guess right now is unless Seabit is part of the civilization that we're looking for, there's probably at least 3 things we might encounter. Seabit's people, whatever made this, and then a potential third that's either alive or been deceased for a long time. If not many other things, so great.
You're talking about Siebert's folks, the other things, dangerous people related to Siebert, and then the giant worm, right?
I guess that's 4.
All right, well...
Juliet, I have a question.
Sure. What's your question?
How long ago did you again say that tunnel had to have been cut?
Hundreds, if not thousands of years, I would say.
He, turns around and looks back at the ruins that have undecomposed wood in them. The ruins aren't that old.
Right, but we knew that the ruins got transplanted here the way we did. So I think whatever is here, that underground, has been here a lot longer than the ruins or us. Maybe original to this planet.
He goes, I guess what I mean is, this room seems to have been collapsed by that tunnel that is thousands of years old. And then he, looks over and there's, a rotting chair, and he's like, that's not thousands.
Now that I think about it, this is me out of character. Wood that's lasted hundreds of years seems impressive to me,
It can happen, but that's a long time for wood. That's a long time.
Right, well, you said undecomposed wood, and I'm like, these ruins have to be 100 years old at least for us to be oh, they're ruins from our past civilization. And I'm like, if there's undecomposed wood here, I'm like, it's impressive.
So I guess it could have been a little bit of water over a long time, or it could have been perhaps a lot of water or something else to smooth it out and make it look longer than it was. Or the wilds are mixing. We already know the wilds mix different places.
Mitchell, can't you just look at it and see the history? Oh no, Fred, you can lick the wall and see what happened here.
Oh yeah, Fred, lick the wall.
I mean, I could give it a try.
Oh, frick. I forget that I give you guys abilities. This is this ability for Fred is when Zach kind of low-key gave us the ability to teleport in Corsairs without thinking about that all the way through, I think.
To be fair, that one was actually in-game. That was not a homebrew thing. The homebrew thing I messed up was giving you an amulet where you could look like anybody.
That also that.
I'm like, oh, this is a way you don't have to worry about Catalina constantly. And you're like, we're using this amulet for everything the whole way through.
Yeah, I guess Fred'll lick a wall.
All right. Do you have a mental fortitude roll, by the way?
I have something.
Give me some kind of mental stat that you have, because you're going to make a roll on that, because this is going to get weird.
Yep, I've got will.
Roll me a will check, yeah. There's 2 ways this can go.
That is a 1.
Alright, so you go up and lick the wall, and again you kind of fall into this stupor. You can feel yourself spiraling down into this haze as your vision clouds over, and you sink deeper and deeper and deeper into this vision, and you find yourself in a room that is familiar. There is this dining room that you were in before when you were some advisor to some old lord who had been given this statue of this, twisting dragon in on itself by this artist as an insult. And as you find yourself in that dining room again, you find yourself in this new body. You look down at your hands, and they're pale, and the skin is loose on your arms and hands like you've lost a lot of weight. You can feel a gnawing hunger that is all-consuming. As you limp blearily into this room, you feel both skinny and too heavy, as moving itself is a trial because you're so weak from hunger. You can feel this kind of like, you can't place it because this is a memory and you're just like in this moment, but you can feel this like ambient terror of everything around you all the time. It is just oppressive anxiety that you find yourself in this body. And oh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. This is great. I just realized something that one meant. So, as you walk into this room, right, that you saw before, that statue that had been mounted to like a staff, right? You can see that it is covered in blood and smashed on the ground, right? Like the table's upturned, that ornamental top to a staff is laying crashed on the ground that you had licked before. And there is this grinding, horrible sound coming from the room just beyond this little dining room where you had met your friend, this, like, king, right? And you feel dread, but it's like one of those things where you know you have to go and open that door and see what's behind it, which is wherever, like, whatever thing that made this spiral is behind that door. You know that. And you know you're gonna go look through it, but is there anything you want to do before you do that?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, so you walk forward, almost like everything in your body is like, do not open this door. There's only bad things behind this door. Do not open this door. And as you pull the door open, it almost feels like you can see darkness pouring out of it. And you see this familiar face in all that gloom. Your friend, the king, this lord of these ruins, who you've known for a long time. He's not sitting on his throne that you know is back. This is like where his throne room was. You would expect to see him sitting kind of resplendent on his throne. You can have that memory of your old friend who you've been advising for years. And even when times got bad and you found yourselves in this otherworldly place beset by monsters, you were still always there with him sitting on his throne advising him as he tried to help his people. But when you open the door, darkness pours out. You see him standing there. And as you see that familiar face and your eyes adjust to the darkness, as that darkness kind of pours out around you, you can see that it's just his face that's familiar. As you look and see his body now grown grotesque to mimic that statue that had been made for him. This massive circling of interlocking plates of stone piled on top of each other, all leading up to this grafted on to the end of this, what are those, statues that are like swirling on each other? You know what I'm talking about? Ammonite, right?
Like the fossils?
Yeah, ammonite. Yeah, so this thing looks like an ammonite, but massive, right? This spiraling stack of interlocking plates all swirling up to this king that you once knew. And as he stares at you, his eyes lock, and you just hear him whisper,
"Hope has died. The only solace is below in the stone."
And the room is destroyed as more of that body than you realized was there spirals in and starts chewing through the stone, spiraling down below what once was your home. When we pop back out, Fred, you come to after licking this wall, and you are terrified beyond speaking of the surface of the world. Being above ground is horrifying to you, and I mean, like, and I'm gonna give you a fate point for this, because this is, like, pretty bad, so I'll say you get a fate point for having this happen to you. You're, like, beside yourself with fear at the notion of being anywhere near sunlight, anywhere near above ground. Up here, there are monsters.
Well, then.
And I'll say this is, like, this would be, like, imagine broad daylight was a fire-breathing dragon with claws and fangs and talons, like right there, you know, like that bad.
So just generally terrified of being above ground near sun.
Remotely near the surface, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think he immediately just turns and runs back down that tunnel where we met the frog people.
Yep, that's fair.
Hey, wait, Fred, slow down.
Well, this is one way down, right?
Yeah, I guess we're going down this way.
Fred!
Estelle, sends Guffy ahead, but follows after him.
Okay. All of you start making your way down this spiraling path. Now, I'll say for Fred, he basically ran off into total darkness. Once you've gone, one long loop through solid stone, you no longer have any light, right? It is absolute darkness on this.
We have the glowy grabby.
Right. Aside from the light that you brought, it is absolute darkness aside from the lights that you brought with you. It's just this smoothed over, wormed out hole through the stone as you walk in total darkness. At this point, maybe you can just hear shouts from Fred, who is gone, as you wind your way downward. Eventually, there's kind of an odd moment of vertigo as you find yourself looking over a massive chasm that you are easily, let's call it 50 feet, maybe 100 feet up, just looking down, trying to think of the right way to describe this. Imagine, right, there's this spiral dug through the stone, and the spiral continues unbroken, but eventually it cut into a massive open cavern, right? So you're still on the spiral that's basically now cut through the wall of a massive cavern. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So instead of walking through a tunnel with no side, the side is open and you are looking out over a expanse, right?
Okay.
So it is cut in the side of a void rather than through solid stone. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the visual across. So what that means is now as you look across, you can see a mass of some kind of glowing vegetation. It all looks very sickly blue-green, this sort of ambient glow. And you can tell it's coming from something that's spread across the rock on the floor of this cavern. And it is going as far as you can see, right? As you look off into the darkness, eventually it just fades out. But there is a mass of this luminous plant life of some sort. That when you get down to it, yes.
Can Juliet, get some into a little vial?
No, because you're, walking, so, here's the floor, you're spiraling down towards the floor, and then this thing keeps going deeper.
Oh, it's not up by us. Okay. It's below us. Okay. Down to the floor.
So, basically you're on a spiral staircase, this is a floor, the spiral staircase goes deeper.
Okay.
As you walk down to, and your eyes adjust to this, kind of luminous gloom, you can see one small shaft of light coming from high above some break in the rocks that shines down, and right where you can see it hit the ground of this cavern, you can just make out, some structures way off in the distance. I mean, this is very far away, so it's hard to tell, but you can just see something where the light from, sunlight hits the floor of the cavern.
This is going to sound, it's not going to sound particularly logical, necessarily, but I may have had a dream about this, and I think that whatever made this giant tunnel, I don't know if it necessarily wants that little place. She points to the spot that's being spotlit by the light. I think that place might be in danger from the big thing, which maybe is kind of obvious, but I have a bad feeling about it, is what I'm saying.
If it's the only thing of sunlight coming down here, I can see whatever's in control wanting it.
The sunlight might also be the thing protecting it from things that don't like sunlight. Fred, how are you feeling about that?
Fred is not here.
Oh, we haven't caught up with him yet?
No.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's keep going then.
All right. Meanwhile, Fred, you have been running for long enough that you're all the way at the base where you saw that mat of luminous gloom. And you don't come to until you're basically still running after, like, you've gone deeper. And eventually you kind of, like, pull up and realize, like, you kind of start to remember where you are. You still have this unbelievable fear of what's above, right? But you're well underground now. It's dark. There's no sunlight. And you kind of start to come back to yourself a little bit. That anxiety still very much there. Like, you would have, like, the mental status of, sunlight. Terrifying. As you're catching your breath, you hear, like, a sci-fi powering up noise, like a... And then you hear a familiar voice. It's Fred, right? What are you going in such a hurry?
So I've run into Lance.
You've run into Lance.
Am I back to my senses?
You know who you are. You're still terrified of being above ground. And, like, that anxiety is not gone. That fear is there. But you know who you are, and you know who he is.
Like, am I sufficiently underground now?
Yeah, I would say it's like... again, like, imagine this as like a giant terrifying dragon. There is, you know, a mile of stone between you and a terrifying dragon. You still don't like terrifying dragons, and he's flapping around right up there, you know?
Let's can't talk, gotta keep going deeper. And he just keeps going.
All right, Fred. See how you do. And as you keep going deeper... Like, I'll say, and like, you don't take damage, you run into, like, a caved-in tunnel.
I mean, I think Fred is just gonna, like, crazy man take out his axe and start trying to chop at it to get through it.
I guess you're doing our work for us, Fred, but we're already trying to do that.
He doesn't really acknowledge Lance.
You sure about that? Hey, Fred, and then you feel a hand on your shoulder, and he goes, "We've planted charges, Fred. It's gonna explode. Fred, it's gonna explode, and not that I particularly care, but I think if I kill you, Juliet will be mad at me. I'm trying to not kill you needlessly, Fred."
I do like the idea that, like, Lance would never say it, but he's a little afraid of Juliet since she killed him once. Like, you know, it's like, I wouldn't admit that I'm afraid of, like, the biologist, but also she did murk me in the woods, so maybe I don't make her mad again.
He's aware he's on thin ice.
I think Fred will snap out of it long enough to understand that there's also danger here and back up far enough away, but just, like, at the edge of where the charges should blow up.
So... As you get, like, drugged back, you see a couple of, like, Lance's compatriots, like, hitting some things on their dial, like, they twist something and then, like, literally drag you back further up the tunnel, and there's, like, a poof, and, like, some of the rock slides out, and they, like, go and start digging out and start trying to plant more charges. They're trying to, like, blow their way through this collapsed tunnel. Lance, meanwhile, is, like, kind of, like, slapping you in the face a little bit, like, maybe he's, like, gives you some water, and he's like, "Fred, you want to talk to me here? So far, all I've seen is, you know, whatever mushroom farmers are living up there, and they don't seem to be a threat. So what's going on here, man?"
"I saw darkness. I gotta get to the darkness. Gotta get away from the light." He's gonna, like, try to pull away and keep going down the tunnel.
Okay. I know. We're trying to do that. Where are all of your friends, man? You didn't come down here alone, right?
And at the mention of his friends, he'll kind of realize he's not with his friends anymore. And kind of look up back the way he came and kind of, like, cock his head and then can keep going.
Are they up there? They're up there. Okay. How about this? Why don't you come with me? We'll find your group. We'll give you back to them, and they can decide what to do with you.
Fred will seem to be amenable to that until Lance tries to pull him back towards the surface. The moment Lance tries to pull him anywhere closer to the surface, Fred's gonna, like, try to pull away.
Okay, you know what? Fine. And he, like, grabs one of his guys and is just like, "Hey, you're on babysitting duty." And then goes, "I'm gonna go find your friends. You stay here. Don't jump in front of a bomb." And then starts, you know, you just see him walk away. Meanwhile, with the rest of the group, all of you, like, have reached the floor of this cavern, right? And when you do, you can see right near the entrance, there's a shack built from dry rotted kind of wood that's been, like, haphazardly pounded together. And right when you get near it, you can just see the door kind of, like, swing shut.
It looks like someone's here, but I don't think we really have time to stop because we gotta get Fred, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't want anything to happen to him. I don't know how deep this goes and how far he can go.
Can I quickly... We're, like, with the bioluminescent stuff now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I pluck it, does it stay bioluminescent?
Oh, interesting question. Yes, for a time, but it starts to fade.
Okay. Juliet would want to, like, pluck, I don't know, was it 6? There's 6 of us?
Yeah.
She's gonna put little bits in 6 vials and hand them out to everybody. Besides Fred, obviously. But now we have all little lights.
I'm curious why... Oh, I see. Okay.
So we could have them, like, around our necks or something.
Gotcha.
As, like...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I'm fine with that. That makes sense. I did not know why you were doing that. I was like, for what possible?
For decoration. We have earrings now.
No, that makes sense. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so now you all have your little vial of bioluminescent stuff around your neck in case you get lost.
So as you are all doing this, you hear footsteps coming up behind you. Are you guys making mushroom necklaces right now? Your friend just ran down into our pit where we're trying to blow our way through that cavern.
You found Fred?
Yeah, he won't.
Also, what are you exploding?
Not Fred, much to, his disappointment.
Is he...
Fine, he's fine.
Okay.
Won't come up the tunnel.
Yes, I think he saw something disturbing.
Do you mean those guys? And he, like, points at the shack. Because they're not really that bad.
Who's in the shack?
I don't know, they ran off when we stunned one of them and they all ran off. What do you want?
Oh, maybe you don't need to stun them. They're friendly. Well,
I don't need to stun them now. They're not messing with us.
I'm saying they're not going to mess with you.
Yeah, Juliet. Okay. Anyways, can you come get Fred, please? Because I don't want him to get blown up.
Yes, thank you for not blowing him up. Lead the way.
What is up, Zach?
Does he have any weirdness about him like the rest of us do?
Oh, that's a really good question. Not that you can see visually immediately.
All right. As we're walking back, can I talk to Lance?
Yeah.
So, got any weird powers from the forest?
He looks at you and goes, do you have any weird powers from the forest, Autumn?
I typically don't grow bark out of my face.
You don't have bark on your face right now.
I thought it was all the time.
No, only when you're in danger.
Well, that's good to know with Lance, honestly. That's a good tip.
It is sort of like an intention. Like, when the town was there, you grew the bark on your face. When right now, you're not.
I have, like, a weird danger sense now, so yes. Estelle doesn't normally have hair that looks like that. Well, I guess normally now. You've met Juliet. She didn't have weird green tattoos, like...
Mm-hmm. He puts a hand on your shoulder and goes, why would I tell you anything about myself?
Because it looks like we're going to be working together.
Autumn, we're working next to each other. We're not working together.
See, how well did that work for you last time, though? Because I remember the 4 of us passed the test and you died.
Last time I got killed, Autumn. Last time I got shot by Juliet. I'm trying to avoid that. Stabbed. I got stabbed by Juliet. I'm trying to avoid that. That doesn't mean we're friends now.
I didn't say we were friends. I said we're working with each other. And Juliet says it's good to catalog all of your resources before starting.
Cool. Do you want to be one of my resources?
I mean...
Because that changes our relationship if you're one of my resources.
I think we can work together, Lance. You don't have to be a butthead.
I think we've lived different lives. We're working next to each other. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to kill Fred. until it becomes immediately advantageous. You understand that, right?
See, I'm beginning to think you didn't learn anything from your Forest Phantom trial.
I'm beginning to think you didn't learn anything from your Forest Phantom trial. If what you took away from it is, we're friends now? No. We're next to each other, and there's no advantage to me fighting you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just thought, maybe you could have turn over a new leaf because, fighting everyone all the time didn't seem to work.
I'm not fighting you right now. I just don't assume that we are on good terms. I have no reason to think that you are benefiting me. I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. All of you kind of represent the largest potential danger that me and my people could face. I'm hoping you're not, but I have no reason to know that for sure.
Except that one of us literally brought you back from the dead and saved your entire town.
That's why I'm not killing you. Yeah. That's why I didn't start shooting you. That's why. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a reason for that, and I'm not fully confident Juliet knew what was going to happen when she did that.
I don't think it would have changed her mind if she knew or didn't.
Probably that's true, but again, that's true for Juliet only.
You can be better, Lance, and then she'll just, let him get ahead.
Hear him say from behind you, I'm better.
She doesn't respond, she makes him have to, she lets him get the last word, which is its own punishment, he wants to keep fighting and she's not.
So as you guys make your way down, eventually you find Fred, who I think at this point is basically not handcuffed, but being physically restrained by one of Lance's guys.
Whoa. What? Why are you holding him?
You can let go of Fred. Just don't set off any charges until he's gone, I guess.
This might seem like a weird question. Would we know what charges are?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say for the sake of things, you don't have to try to do the, we don't have to do,
cultural exchange for it.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
right.
yeah, I just didn't know how, advanced we were talking here. Okay, yeah, Fred, come back here, please. You don't want to be around the charges. Is Fred willing to come back towards us?
I think as soon as Fred is released from whoever was holding him, he goes back to trying to dig in the tunnel. And, when he hears Estelle's voice, he kind of, turns but doesn't stop.
Hey, Fred, what are you doing?
Gotta get deeper. Gotta get down in the darkness.
Fred, we're a mile underground. We are fully in the dark.
Also, as much as I hate to admit it, it seems like what Lance is doing is going to get us deeper. So, can you come back here so you don't get hurt?
Fred, as you sit there and him and haw, Lance kind of sidles up next to Autumn, and you feel him, press something metallic into your hand, and he goes, that's a stun gun you can borrow if you want. Won't hurt him, I promise. Stun.
I don't think I need it. And she hands it back. Fred, we need to move back. We'll get deeper. You have to trust us.
Are they doing more explosions?
They're doing more explosions.
Fred will back up, just out of range of the explosions again.
Don't worry, Fred. We'll let you know once you can go deeper and there aren't explosions deeper. I get it. We want to go deeper, too. You just gotta give us time.
I like how Lance is talking to me like I'm a toddler, which kind of I am right now.
Hey, Lance, are there explosions? How long do we have to wait? Not trying to rush.
Honestly, and I don't mean this in a crappy way, legitimately, I don't know how thick this rock is. Once I get through this rock, then we're moving on.
Well, let's get to work, I guess. Have they done any of the charges yet? Do they need to plant more? What's going on? Where are...
They're still working on it. They have not planted charges yet. They have a ways to go before they're, done. You know what I mean?
Juliet will give Fred his, glowy tag. So you don't get lost.
How do I react to that? How do I react to a bioluminescent
It's not sunlight. It's fine.
Okay.
It's sunlight, not light.
How far back was the door that shut?
Oh, it's actually pretty close. Like, the tunnel goes down, maybe call it quarter of a mile, you know? Like, you could see that glow still, like, above you. Maybe, like, 1/2 a turn above, you know?
Okay.
10-minute walk.
If this is gonna take a minute, then I think Estelle is going to look over at everyone else. So, I'm sure I'll hear the explosion when it happens. If this is gonna take a minute, I'm gonna go see if I can figure out or make contact with whatever was up there. If anyone wants to come with me, I do think at least if Fred's just gonna be staying here waiting for someone to blast a way for him to go further down, someone should probably stay with him.
Please don't leave him here.
Mitchell, do you want to babysit?
No, please don't. No,
I don't think he's gonna let me drag him back up, even if it's just like up there. It's up to Fred. Anyway, Juliet, Autumn, either of you coming?
I can. I think it's probably another one of Siebert's people. I don't know how much they want to see us, but
I do want to meet Siebert's people. Like, if we're here, like, and I don't meet the cool thing, like, it feels like a missed opportunity, right?
Right.
But if someone needs to stay with Fred, I think I'm the only one who could physically restrain him without him getting stunned.
I think Mitchell can probably do that.
Yeah, Mitchell actually has practice dealing with that.
Oh, yeah. He does, yeah. I was just thinking Fred is very, like, pretty physically fit.
And so is Mitchell. He can handle that.
Let's go see the people then.
Maul, are you coming?
Oh, I'm definitely coming with you. I'm not staying down here with Lance. 100%. In fact, I think it's a terrible idea to leave anyone down here with Lance. It's a bad idea all around. Lance hears that and just, like, smirks and keeps, like, he's, like, pickaxing and, like, planting these, like, big, like, twist into the metal, you know, basically dynamite charges, you know, into the stone wall.
We go back up, though, towards where the door shut.
Okay, I will say, like, Fred, this is, like, optional for you. You are terrified of sunlight and the surface, not terrified of going up 20 feet. You know what I mean?
How far are they going up?
Like 50 feet. Like, just, not like straight up, just kind of back into the clearing.
He'll go with, but he is not going to like it.
That is fine. Yeah. Okay. So you all make your way back up, and back up to where there's that cavern full of that, like, luminous mushrooms that are spread all across the stone. It occurs to me that mushrooms would not grow well on stone. I believe it would be a luminous lichen is actually what it would be. Doesn't really matter, but it just bothers me that I know that mushrooms grow on decaying trees, and there would be no decaying trees in a cave. Doesn't matter. Luminous lichen.
Has a good ring to it.
We've already established that the laws of physics don't have to apply the same.
Just bothers my brain. Anyways, that I said mushrooms, and I'm like, wait a second. Anyways.
Luminous lichen flows off the tongue nicely.
There's this, like this kind of, like, dry rotted, shack, off that, where, like, that door snapped shut when you guys came down into the cavern.
Estelle will go over to where we heard, like, it's like a door, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shack. That has a door.
Yeah. So she's gonna go up and knock on the door.
So when you go up and knock on the door, you hear cackling, like kind of this uncontrolled giggles, and then 3 roughly, like, beach ball sized creatures jump onto you. Yeah, like the size of, like, a beach ball, like this big. And you feel like tiny, spindly arms punching at you totally ineffectively. And then you hear a voice booming out from the shack. Get off of our guests. And the, like, giggling and punching just continues.
Are they like actually like, are they like round like beach balls?
No, imagine like turtle shaped.
Turtle shaped. Okay.
They're kind of like on top of you right now, so it's hard to tell, but you can try to like grab one and look at it if you want, but you'll have to make some kind of like grappling check.
I don't know if I specifically want to grapple, but like I think Estelle, because I don't know if these are pets or children. So I think she's kind of doing like when kids are jumping on you, she's kind of like trying to shake her arm and like leaning down so that they don't like fall far.
So as you, like, crouch down and shake your arms, that shouting from the shack continues, and one of them kind of, like, falls onto their back in front of you, and what you see is, like I said, a shell that is roughly the shape of a turtle, made of interlocking kind of stony chunks around a body with long, spindly arms that are, like, very pale. They have large, gleaming eyes and kind of a wide toad-like mouth, and you can see that they're like the face in front of you is kind of like giggling, but it's sort of like a ribbity giggle, and as it falls on the ground it rolls up to its feet and then immediately starts attacking Guffy, who goes into like play mode and starts like nipping at it and jumping back, and then the other three crawl off of you and immediately start attacking Guffy, who's just like boofing and wagging his tail and pouncing at this, like, you know, pile of little kids.
He's having a great time.
He's having a great time. The door swings open, and you see instead of being the size of a beach ball, you know, like, maybe 4.5 feet tall, one of those things, similar face, big glowing eyes, and carrying a long stick with a big, like, sharp hook on the end. Kind of like a sickle, but the hook is shorter. And you can see it's made of like obsidian, so like chipped stone into like this little moon shape.
I see you have met my guards.
Gods?
When you live in an isolated area, you have to make do with who you can get.
Does this being look like, is there a family resemblance? Do they look like totally different species?
To the kids, it looks exactly like the kids, just bigger.
Okay.
Well, they were very effective. I'll tell you that.
The creature leans over, and it's like odd to look at because it feels like this thing should fall over because it has very long, skinny legs down to the ground, and its body seems very heavy as it tilts. I'm like leaning away from the mic. Leans way too far over and looks over at Juliet, Maul, and Fred.
Hello again. I see you found your way down to my home. I hope you still mean no harm, or my guards will have to deal with you.
Hello, Siebert. This is the rest of our party. And she, like, introduces... I guess she should introduce herself. I'm Juliet, and then goes and, like, introduces the rest of the party.
Here's Autumn. And Juliet again, Estelle. And Fred.
Hello to all of you. Welcome to my home. Would you care to come in?
We'd love to come in if it's not imposing.
Not at all. It's been...
And he just kind of like stares off, his eyes glowing bright.
A long time since I've had guests.
And he like creaks the door open, and you can see there's a very low table with very low stools sitting around like a pot of water that's glowing luminously.
Juliet will go in and sit down.
Yeah, so will Autumn.
As you sit down, he goes,
Are you hungry?
I could go for a bite.
Excellent.
and he pulls out these like stoneware bowls and ladles in this like kind of glowing lichen gruel and slides it over to you.
Enjoy. It is the best we have to offer.
And he like picks up his own and drinks, and as he does, his eyes kind of glow.
This is like, I think, we're at the point where beggars can't be choosers, and we are not eating well in town anymore.
That's true.
Like, I don't think this is a point where we can be like, no, I don't want to. Do I feel in danger, Cody?
No, you don't feel in danger.
Okay. Autumn will try some.
Juliet will taste some.
Autumn tries some and has Juliet wait a second.
Okay, so you...
Not that I think he poisoned us, just I don't know if, multiple fungi are very poisonous to humans.
Yeah, you take a drink and it tastes like wet moss and water, and you don't feel bad.
Are my eyes glowing?
No.
She, shrugs and, keeps sipping. Or drinking, or whatever you want to say, however you consume this moss gruel.
So, as you all are sitting there drinking, Siebert kind of leans back and looks at all of you.
Not that I want to be rude to guests, but what are all of you wonderful people doing down here?
We're looking for answers of what happened to the city, the civilization above, in hopes that we can avoid falling like it did.
Falling.
Siebert kind of smiles his wide toady mouth.
Have surface dwellers fallen down here before?
Here, quick question. Does the name Siebert mean anything to me?
Yeah, no, it does not. It does not specifically. You do not think that person that you saw, you do not believe was Siebert. No.
Okay.
Nor the person that you inhabited. But I understand the question that you're asking.
Yep. That's exactly what I was asking.
Siebert kind of gets a faraway look in his eyes, and he kind of looks out through his shack at his kids that are still playing with Guffy.
I don't know how to count the time since I have seen the sun. The society above did not fall. We sunk to survive. And survive we have. For timeless generations and years, we have survived.
Do you know roughly when you came down here from the surface?
He again gets kind of a far-off look in his eyes.
I cannot say. I remember. My eyes dazzled by light and oceans of wheat waving in the sunlight. But that is all. All else is lost. Gone.
Do you know what made you all come down here?
Danger. Fear. Starvation. We once had plenty to eat and could run free above. But then a change came, and with it, horrors and abominations. Our crops died in their fields, as days changed and seasons twisted on themselves, and we fell into the unknown. Our Lord vanished, twisted as we are now, and we found safety in the caves.
So you used to live in the buildings above?
I have told you what I remember. I don't know if I did. I had a life above, and now I am here.
And he takes another long drink of bitter soup.
What happens if we open the passage to go further down? To you, specifically.
He, shrugs.
I cannot pretend to remember who caved in that tunnel or why. We fear what is below us. We fear what it might bring, because we fear change. I fear for what it would mean for me and for my children.
And he kind of looks at them still playing with Guffy.
Change can be good. That is the happiest I have seen my children. But change can also be terrible. It changed me. It changed us. Who is to say if removing those rocks is good or bad? Maybe you find something good. Maybe you find monsters.
Can we count on you not sealing it up immediately and trapping us down there?
I would have no reason to. I also would have no ability to. And he, gestures at his, hooked stick. That's what I got.
So, on the surface, we seem to be dealing with changes to our home, which is right above you. Have the changes been happening down here? Have you noticed anything in the last few months?
You and the ones that came right before you are the first new things I have seen in a long time.
Okay, so this doesn't seem to be, well, now it's been affected by us, but it has it in the last 3 months suddenly felt like a new place. Has the dirt changed? Or the rocks around you?
He looks around. Down here, nothing changes.
Okay.
Has the light changed? And she gestures out towards where they saw the beam of light coming on.
You see him kind of freeze up and go, "We do not think of the light. We do not talk of the light."
What lives there? Because there's a city, a town, a building in the light, right?
The town, yes. Built around the statue illuminated from above. The ever-present reminder of the danger that lives above us. Many of us live there, near to that narrow beam of light from above, but we fear it. It is a reminder of the danger that lurks and waits for us.
What is the danger?
When you ask that question, you see him kind of get confused.
I do not remember. I remember starving. I remember death. I remember the death of my wife. I do not remember what did it. I just remember death and the light.
How old are your children?
So you look and see children, right, that are maybe between the ages, it's hard to guess, right? If you assume that these things are young and then, they are children, right? I'm trying to think of the right way to answer that question.
What I'm really asking is, I'm trying to get a sense of if they're frozen in time.
Yes.
If they should have aged and they have not.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're asking. What I'm trying to say is that a specific number isn't necessarily what's at issue here.
I came down here with 3 children. Typically, we would live to be 50 years, 60 years old. We are considered full grown after maybe 17 years. I believe I have been down here more than 50 years. Nothing changes.
I see.
I think I'm good with questions for him.
Yeah, I think I am too. We can make small talk and finish our lichen soup.
So as you kind of finish your soups and wind down, Siebert kind of speaks again.
I understand maybe that you are not of the same group of those back there blasting away at the stone, seeking to delve further, but you wish to see what is deeper than us, yes?
We do.
Yeah, it has been suggested to us that if we want to continue staying on the surface, we need to learn more about what is all down here.
I can say was always and still am. Farmer. I grow and cultivate the lichen. I bring it to town and feed those who are there. I might not be the best person for information. I think mostly what I desire is to be left alone. There are others down here that might be able to help you, but some of them too might take umbrage with the destruction of that stone barrier that has been there as long as we can remember.
Noted. Do you think they'll try to stop us, is what you're saying?
If I'm being honest, I have a sense for these things. After the amount of danger that I endured for an amount of time, I am not certain that we could.
If it makes you feel better, I'm not certain we could stop them either.
Oh, he, chuckles and there's, kind of a gurgling ribbit to it.
I mean you, not just them.
Is there anyone in town you'd recommend us speaking to?
If you want to know history, Old Fallow the teacher knows the most, but he is less accommodating than me. I'm considered to be jolly by our standards.
Well, hopefully he has had a change of heart.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Wanderlust. Music for this show is credited down below. If you like this campaign, you can find more of our shows at the Wandering Gamer website or on Podbean. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links in the description. Now bear in mind, in the wilds, some wander to get lost, and some wander to find themselves.